I'm really on point. I often mention Ephesians 3:20. It teaches that God is able to do exceeding abundantly above all that we could ask or think, according to the power that worketh in us, which is His Spirit. I found that verse to be absolutely true in my born-again experience and also in business. I want to share a little bit about it relative to my experiences in business, about an idea for an invention that God gave me. It is definitely beyond all I would have asked or thought. But before I share that, consider this. You have undoubtedly had an idea that is worth more than $1,172,820. The first link is to a blog that explains that likelihood. I also share some information from my experiences with the patent process and how the Almighty God Himself has intervened for me. If you haven't already gone through that process, I think the blog will provoke your thinking and could perhaps start you on what can be an amazing journey, exceeding abundantly above all you could ask or think. This is the short version of what God did for me. My profession was computerized designing and engineering in the automobile industry. But God gave me an idea that was totally outside the box for me. It's for the internet. The idea was so vivid, it was almost visible. From my previous experiences in doing searches on the internet, I knew that the concept would work. But I was completely dumbfounded by it because I didn't have a clue as to where to begin. This is what I did to show God that I honored Him for giving me the idea. I went to a bookstore and purchased a For Dummies book and learned the basic language for the internet, HTML, or Hypertext Markup Language. Believe me, that For Dummies book was written for me, because the only thing I knew about the internet was how to use it and how to spell it. That is all I knew. After learning HTML, it was like knowing the alphabet, but still not knowing how to spell one word. That's because the lessons and exercises in the book had no correlation to my idea whatsoever. None at all. And therefore they gave me no hint about what to do first. But I remembered that Proverbs 3:5-6 says, "Trust in the Lord with all thy heart. Lean not to thine own understanding. In all thy ways acknowledge Him, and He shall direct thy paths." So that's what I did. I recall sitting at my computer trying to imagine the first step to take. But it was like I was brain dead. I couldn't think. After about 5 minutes, the screensaver came on. A blank screensaver. Shortly afterwards, I actually saw the format of that idea displayed on that blank screen. And what I mean by I saw is, it was a mental image that was almost visible. I quickly grabbed a pen and notepad and drew that format while it was fresh in my mind. God subsequently led me step by step, using basic HTML, to develop a good simulation of what He showed me initially. Professionals in internet technology signed confidentiality agreements to review it. Their consensus is that it could change the landscape of online advertising in favor of local and home-based businesses. It was also said to be far too simple to have been conceived by the gurus in Google, Microsoft, and the other internet giants. More amazingly, they confirmed that it's too simple for the big companies to replicate by reverse engineering. In other words, they cannot re-engineer it and accomplish the same result, which is almost inconceivable. I can only think of one reason for why God would give me something with such great market potential. I believe with my total being that God gave it to me primarily because of my passion for evangelism. By the help of the Lord, this is my plan. I expect to start a company and have the application in operation by November 2015. My vow to God is, I will use the net profits for evangelism, for which the big picture encompasses perpetuating the gospel of Jesus Christ, plus humanitarian aspects. For example, sociocultural, intellectual, and economic development. The details for perpetuating the gospel are defined in my blog for a comprehensive evangelism program. That's what the company will finance. Click on the second link to see that. The company will be structured to accomplish three things. Number one, high profitability. Number two, create jobs with job security. And number three, motivate students to become world-renowned innovators and entrepreneurs. How that will be accomplished is also on the blog under the tab for Renaissance in Corporate America. It focuses on strategies for the humanitarian aspects of evangelism, which come from my experiences from ministering in the streets. I have encountered people of all nationalities, from the impoverished to the wealthy, from the illiterate to the professionals, and from the homeless to those who live in affluent communities. The ones that rest so heavily on my mind are the impoverished, of which some have criminal backgrounds and have IQs ranging from low to almost genius. Some were once professionals, but for various reasons lost hope and gave up on life. Jesus said we are the salt of the earth. Therefore, we can give hope in ministering to spiritual and earthly needs. And one more point about the blog. See the tab for miraculous experiences. I cite two that reassure me that God is with me in this, which makes me fully confident that He will bring the two aspects of evangelism to fruition. No doubt in my mind. Introspection convinces me that evangelism is the driving force behind me engaging in business. The Apostle Paul is my encouragement and example in that he worked with his hands to support himself and to perpetuate the gospel, according to Acts 18:3 and 20:34. I invite you to click on the third link to see what I'm doing to generate the finances to develop the beta version of the application, pursue the patent process, and to start the company. If you like the product, please patronize me and help me make the vision a reality. And again, I encourage you to do not underestimate your simplest idea. It could be God-given for your financial breakthrough and to possibly make the world a better place until the Lord returns. As it has happened for me, it could be the same with you. A little idea could evolve into something that is exceeding abundantly above all that you could ask or think, if you acknowledge God in all your ways, if you let Him direct your path, if you take action. As a senior pastor once said to me, let's work as if the Lord will return in the next 1,000 years, but live like He's coming back today. Until the next time, let's be blessed by praying earnestly for each other.